Welcome back. Good Tuesday morning, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us this morning. I'm Maria Bartiromo, and it is Tuesday, April 21st. It is 8:01 on the East Coast. Happening this morning, VP J.D. Vance headed to Pakistan as the second round of U.S.-Iran peace talks appear to be on track, while U.S. forces maintain a blockade in the Strait of Hormuz and those Iranian ports. With the ceasefire agreement, the temporary ceasefire set to expire tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern. The president told me on the phone on Sunday every item has already been negotiated with Iran, and if no deal is reached and signed tonight, the U.S. will finish the job and blow up every single power plant and bridge in Iran. President Trump also posted on Truth Social, teasing his Iran deal will be far better than the 2015 JCPOA deal reached under President Obama. He called that deal one of the worst deals ever made. The president wrote on Truth Social this morning this: Iran has violated the ceasefire numerous times. Joining me now is Kentucky Senator Rand Paul. Senator, good to see you. Thank you so much for being here.
Good morning.
And I want to get your take on where we stand here with this war. How are you feeling about the status so far?
You know, I think I'm like most Americans. I hope the war comes to a swift conclusion. I think that anytime you enter into diplomacy and you want it to succeed, you have to understand that part of diplomacy is allowing your enemy or your adversary to save face. That doesn't mean capitulation, but it means entering into negotiations where you don't hurl insults, you don't muddy the waters with things said. So, for example, I think religious imagery, Old Testament imagery, or fake biblical verses about smiting your enemy probably aren't helpful. So I think the way you move it forward is through the words of diplomacy. You have to realize that in World War II, Japan was utterly defeated. We dropped an atomic weapon on Hiroshima. 3 days later, they still wouldn't capitulate. Another atomic weapon was dropped on Nagasaki 3 or 4 days later, and the majority of the cabinet, until the emperor came forward, the majority of the cabinet still wanted to fight on. So people will fight on even when they're utterly defeated. Part of diplomacy is allowing them sort of some off-ramp, or allowing them some sort of ability to save face and moving forward. So I hope we will get to peace, but I think it's important that people leave religious imagery out of this war.
Well, I mean, look, President Trump thinks that the war is coming to a close. He said that he will finish the job. But you're right. I mean, we, dropped the atomic bomb during World War II. And so many presidents have talked about Iran being a state sponsor of terrorism. These are very tough decisions. All of those presidents said so about Iran, but did nothing about it. President Trump actually did something about it. But I want to get your take on money matters here, because there's going to be a cost to this, as you know, Senator. And this morning, your colleague, Budget Chairman Lindsey Graham, is set to release the text of a budget resolution. It's expected to direct the Judiciary, Homeland Security, and Governmental Affairs committees to draft long-term funding legislation for ICE. The president told me that he would like to keep this upcoming reconciliation bill slim. But we know that you and your colleagues have also talked about another reconciliation package to put the other priorities in that one. Can you talk to us about your expectations of how this plays out, this reconciliation bill that the president wants to see on his desk by June, and would be a third reconciliation bill after a big, beautiful bill, obviously, last year, for one with the other priorities such as the defense spending and perhaps the Save America Act and other things before the midterms? How does this play out?
I think there's a certain amount of irony to Republicans using a partisan bill with no Democrat support, where we use our partisan majority to force through spending increases. So I think spending money, I'm for spending less money. There needs to be some fiscal conservatives. There needs to be a conservative movement within the Republican Party to spend less money. So I'm not too excited about using our partisan majority to pass with just Republicans. First, this spending bill, but then another couple $100 billion for the military, more money, for farmers that are hurt by tariffs. All of this spending, really, we need to be using our partisan majority to reduce spending, to reduce the deficit, to go towards a balanced budget. So none of it really excites me too much that we're going to do these all-night sessions to get a partisan majority to spend more money. That sounds like what the other side usually does.
So are you saying that you would not support a reconciliation bill by June, or you would not support the reconciliation bill that has the defense spending and perhaps the Save America Act in it later on in the year?
We haven't seen what's in any of these bills yet, so I have to wait and see what's in the bills. I can tell you that even with ICE, and I do support having federal funding for ICE, we increased the spending for ICE and for Border Patrol over 100% last summer. So even funding at relatively flat levels, it includes the 100% or 120% increase in the funding that was passed last summer. So this is an extraordinary amount of money. And even though I do support ICE and support Border Patrol, realize that all this adds up and nobody's going the opposite direction. Where are the Republican plans to cut spending? So if there were significant cuts, I would add, and we'll try to add significant cuts to the ICE bill. I will try to add significant cuts to any increase in military spending. But typically what happens in these bills is the spending comes up front, and then there's a promise, well, on another day, sir, 5 years from now, we'll begin cutting spendings, and these reforms will kick in 5 years later.
Yeah.
But what always has is Congress comes back, gets rid of the reforms and the spending cuts, but the spending always occurs. So we have to do better.
By the way, we just spoke with your colleague in the House, Brian Stile, who questioned whether or not the Senate would remove the 60-vote threshold when it comes to opening up the Department of Homeland Security. Do you think there's ever a conversation that is real to be removing the filibuster when you've got one idea issues like, for example, Department of Homeland Security and funding for ICE?
Well, the interesting thing is we already have an exception to the filibuster, and it's called reconciliation. So when they pass the spending, which they're trying to do either this week or next week or the next couple weeks to fund ICE, without Democrat support, it'll be done by a simple majority. So it will override or be an exception to the filibuster. That already exists.
Okay.
As far as having a broad exemption where all legislation passes by simple majority, I think there are more bad ideas up here than good ideas. And really, in the history of the country, more bad legislative ideas than good ones. So I don't think we should make it really easy to make everything a simple majority vote. I think that trying to make legislation difficult to pass through a supermajority is actually the preferable mode.
All right, real quick on surveillance of American citizens. President Trump is signing a short-term extension of the key surveillance law, FISA, delaying the expiration until April 30th. This gives the lawmakers, you and your colleagues, more time to negotiate a longer-term reauthorization as the administration pushes for an 18-month renewal of FISA without reforms. Section 702. Senator, I know you're demanding an amendment related to warrants in exchange for a time agreement. Tell us more. Explain to our audience the issues here.
Well, you know, I agree with President Trump, who in 2024 said we ought to kill FISA, that he was spied on, his campaign was spied on by American intelligence. Absolutely, we should not let a foreign intelligence service, FISA, we shouldn't let them spy on Americans. So what I'm asking for is this. Right now, we spy on foreigners without any kind of warrant. We just gather up everything. We gather up sometimes every cell phone information in an entire country in Europe sometimes. That's foreigners. They aren't Americans. The Constitution doesn't apply over there. But what happens is if I talk to you and you talk to your reporter in the Middle East, and your reporter in the Middle East has a source in the Arab world whose cousin is with Hamas, all of a sudden your conversation, my conversation, it's all caught up in FISA. And they should not be able to investigate a journalist for your contacts, but they shouldn't be able to investigate me because I talked to a journalist. So I'm not for allowing them to look at Americans' conversations or metadata without a warrant. Now, if you get a warrant, I would only use that information to stop terrorism or immediate threats. If somebody is talking to somebody who's talking to somebody and they mentioned, oh, you know, I brought some paint home from the office and didn't write it off, you know, I wrote it off even though I used it at home, which is a tax violation, but someone said this in private conversation, you found it without a warrant. We shouldn't be prosecuting people for tax crime out of the FISA database. Should only be about terrorism, only about stopping terrorism, and only really about foreigners. So my amendment says you have to require to get an amendment to search an American. If they want to investigate President Trump like they did, they'd have to have a warrant, but then it could never be used for domestic crime, only to stop imminent attacks and terrorism.
Oh, that makes sense. Senator, it's great to have you this morning. Thanks so much.